Good morning, class. Today we're going to look at lesson 3.3, solving inequalities with multiplication and division. Now, inequalities are a little bit different than equations, but not a whole lot. If you look up here in example 1a, we'll do that one together. You notice k is what by -4? That's right, divided. And when something is divided, the best way to cancel out division is, that's right, multiplication. So we will multiply by -4. Multiply. And multiplication is canceled out, and you will get k. And 13 times -4 makes -52. Now, we just have one thing different. The greater than has to be turned into a less than. Less than. When you multiply by a negative number, by a negative, you have to switch the less than or greater than symbol. You have to switch the less than or greater than when the number that you multiply by is a negative number. So if there's a negative on both sides, you have to switch the symbol. Okay? Good. Let's move on to A. Letter B. X over 3 is less than 10. Go ahead and solve this one on your own. I'll give you 20 more seconds. Okay, so how do you solve for x? That's right, multiply by 3. Multiply by 3. And what x will be? That's right, 30. And do you switch the less than sign? No, because the number you multiplied this time was positive. So there's no reason to switch the less than. You only switch the less than if the number you multiply by is negative. And this time it was positive 3. So leave it as a less than. Okay? Very good. Let's move on to C. All right, I'd like you to multiply to solve for x in this one. I'll give you a little over half a minute to solve this. It's okay. You can use calculators if the numbers are too big for you. Okay, so in this one, what number are we going to multiply by? That's right, 28. We need to cancel out the 28 into the 28 that's below the x. Now, when you multiply a fraction and a whole number, do 6 times 28. If you don't know what 6 times 28 is, feel free to use your calculator or multiply it out. 6 times 28 is, that's right, 168. Put the little 7 on the bottom, then divide by 7, and you'll find out that x is less than 24. And that's your final answer. X is less than 24. Again, no switching. The 28 was positive. No reason to switch the less than. All right, last one of these, and then we'll move on. Please solve D. I'll give you 1 minute to solve D. Okay, 10 seconds. All right, so what do we have to multiply A by? Very good, -2. Multiply both sides by -2. Cross out that -2 and you get A. What's -2 times -12? 24, you say? Very good. Now, our greater than or equal to? That's right. Got to become a less than or equal to because we multiplied by negative. -2 on both sides. That's what switched it. -2. All right, so now that you've mastered the multiplying part, let's move on to the division ones. Going to flip now. If you look at example number 2, we have a negative in front of the -8p. -8p in front of the p. How do we get rid of a number in front of a variable? That's right. We have to divide. So we're going to divide by -8. Oops, got the highlighter on still. So we're going to divide by -8. Divide by -8. So P, what is 96 divided by -8? -96 divided by -8. Good, 12. And what happens to our greater than or equal to? If you guessed it switches, you're right. You have to switch it when you divide by a negative. You have to switch the less than or greater than. They have to be switched around when you divide by a negative. Just like when you multiply by a negative, you have to switch them around. And only happens with a negative, not with a positive. All right, I'd like you to do B. Please do problem B on your own. I'll give you just about a minute. No reason to shout out the answer. Just wait for everyone else to finish. Okay, so this time we divide by, very good, -7. -7. So, what is 100 or -105 divided by 7? Good, that's 15. Now, does our less than sign stay the same? No, it switches to a greater than or equal to because the 7 was negative. The less than or equal to becomes greater than or equal to. Any questions with this? If so, ask me when I come back. All right, last slide. Please do problem C. Please do problem C. Okay, so what are we going to divide by? Good, negative 14. And what is 70 divided by negative 14? That's right, negative 5. And our greater than or equal to? Good. It switches to less than or equal to because the 14 is negative. Because the 14 was negative. That's the number that you multiplied by on both sides. It was negative. All right, last problem. Please do D. D. All right, so what are we going to divide by? Good, negative 6. And you'll forget x is negative 3, and the less than sign, that's right, turns into a greater than because you divided by a negative 3. So remember, only switch it when you divide by a negative 3. Okay? That completes our lesson for 3.3. Remember, you will be getting a pretest for homework, and we're going to have our tests for chapter 2 on Friday. So if you have any questions or need to retake a quiz or something, please see me. Tell me at the field trip and stay after school, okay? Because you need to do the quizzes before the test. All right, have a good day, and I'll see you on Wednesday.